Hi everyone, this is Moni Singh and welcome to Teaching STEM podcast and video series. Today I want to focus on finding your what. And I want to talk to the STEMers out there. You may be a teacher who is looking to get started with STEM, providing your STEM rotations, your STEM specials, or maybe you are an entrepreneurial parent and you want to start offering STEM after school programs or camps or other kinds of enrichment in your community. Now, oftentimes, actually, most of the times, I've seen a conversation or a thought process that begins this way. Hey, I want to start some STEM classes. And then you start thinking about what are some cool activities that you can do, or the focus immediately goes towards activities. And then there are lots of these ideas out there. So okay, maybe I can use the volcanic eruption, or maybe I can have an activity where kids are making chair out of newspapers, or I'm doing this balloon car project where the kids are racing cars using the power of balloon and all that stuff. Those activities are great, right? And you're thinking about what activities can you use to make it really exciting and interesting for the children, to get them interested in what they're doing. However, I want to challenge that. I want to challenge that thought process. Um, Here is why, because the most important aspect when you're thinking about beginning your STEM classes is to think about what is it that you're going to accomplish with the kids? What are your goals, your objectives, from a learning perspective, as you think about, as you plan out your STEM activities? So, the activities, the how come later. You do have to focus on first the what. What is it that you want to accomplish with the kids? Because if you try to do how, thinking about the activities before deciding the what, it's almost like putting the cart before the horse. And if that's the situation, you can imagine that there's no way for us to move the cart forward. The horse has to be in the front, and horse is the what. So the what comes first. I want to give you an example of, it's you never have a situation where you just, kind of get out of the home, get in your car and say, okay, I'm just driving, and I'll stop over wherever. Most of the times you'll say, okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store, or I'm going to go to the UPS store, and before that I need to go pick up some prescription medications, and I have to go to the UPS store and actually have them shipped out to my dad who is out traveling. You have a goal, an agenda, and then you basically plan out what you need to do to get to that goal. Um, Imagine, taking a bunch of kids with you in a bus and saying, okay, I'm going to stop over at any fancy interesting thing I see along the roadside, and we'll keep stopping and doing a little bit here, doing a little bit there. You need to, again, that's not what you'll do, right? You'll plan out and you'll say, okay, maybe we are going to go see this museum, and along the way we might stop at this and this McDonald's to eat food, and so on and so forth. So again, knowing that what is very important, and you have to have that resolve before you start thinking about the activities. So the I want to take another example, and if you going back to the 1960s, John F. Kennedy, he made a declaration, right, that we are going to send a man to the moon and bring him back safely within this decade. When he made that declaration, there was no technologies. People did not know how it was going to happen. He made that declaration, and then the scientists, the engineers, they sat down and they figured things out. And we were talking about during those days, the best technologies out there, which actually ultimately landed man on moon, were computing power, just about as much as we actually carry in our pockets these days with our phones. So, but they made it happen, right? So you have to always put that stake on the ground on what you need to happen. So we know that the what is important, that needs to happen first. So now let's think in the context of you deciding to start a STEM program. So how do you figure out your what? Okay, there are four aspects to consider, and I'm going to give you all four of them. When you think about setting up your objectives for your STEM programs, first you want to look at the strategic priorities of the school district. Are there certain things that the district overall is looking to accomplish? You also want to look at the any strategic priorities set by your principal, by your own school, as you start thinking about your goals with the STEM program, the STEM rotation or the STEM classes. You also want to look at the local community and think about what kind of local employers do you have there? Is there a strong industry that your community is known for? Maybe you have a big employer like like a Boeing in your market, and and so you see an infrastructure surrounding aerospace in your community. And then the fourth aspect is, of course, the grade level of the students you're looking to serve, and what kind of science related educational standards are the kids learning, or are they're supposed to be learning in school during that grade year. So, for example, your second graders or third graders may be learning laws of motion. So, is there something that you can do in your STEM programming so that you can bring that point home through more of the application? Because STEM has that benefit of adding the application of that learning to it. So just to give you an example, I remember we were doing helping one school district with their programming for after school and summer, and so this school district was in a rural coastal kind of an environment, and their community is known for solar farms, and it's a lot of focus on creating solar farms going on. And so renewable energy was a key focus for this county, I would say, the school district that we were working with. And as we look at the district goals itself, there's a lot of focus on citizenship, community engagement. Um, and we looked at the grade level of students, and we knew that there was an interest. They were learning about environmental sciences in their school classroom. So when we looked at all these components, and with the staff of the district, we devised and we said, okay, the what could be in your situation is we provide children an exposure to the career of environmental engineering, and as part of that experience, we showcase the solar energy, the renewable energy that your community is focused on, and try and bring the big industry player which was in that marketplace to do some kind of engagement with the school district as part of that program offering. And then the number three was to bring in that community engagement part, having as part of the output things that the children will be creating, having some component of them doing like a community message, whether it was a PSA, public announcement, I think, public announcement, or doing some kind of an environmental, so doing coordinating with the local authorities, and having some volunteer work cleaning up the beach and so on and so forth. So it's an interesting thing how you can bring it all together to really make the point home, make it a real connection for the children as you think about the what. Now once you've figured out the what, now the activities, now we can start digging deeper into the house and thinking about the activities. But remember, your core focus now becomes that you are getting kids more and more into the environmental engineering, while giving them some experience on the community engagement side, showcasing some of the local industry players, and that creates that ecosystem. Right now, you can actually take the kids even out of the classroom, have them do different community work. You could have the company come out to you, or the students being able to go out to the company location, and it creates a totally unique and an experience that will be impactful. I hope that helped you, and keep thinking. Again, remember, when you begin, focus on the what first, and then begin thinking about the how. With that, we'll end this podcast and the episode. Take care, everyone. Have a good one.